I'm going to be debunking more counter narratives. This is Jesse Waters. Nobody knows what Biden's talking about. Let's see, on Fox News. Let's see.
Nothing says summer like a barbecue. President Eisenhower loved grilling so much, he put a Weber on the White House roof. You could see the smoke and smell the steak from Pennsylvania Avenue. Not everyone in Washington can man the grill like Ike. This weekend was Father's Day, and Chuck Schumer posted a picture of himself manning the grill filled with hot dogs and a pale gray burger patty. Why no smoke? No sizzle? Because Schumer doesn't have the heat knobs cranked up. Crying Chuck slapped a slice of cheese on a raw patty. He's serving salmonella and controls the Senate. How did we get here? And who stages a barbecue? Democrats are trying to fake and bake their way into re-election. And they're using props and actors to sell their script. This weekend, Biden held a Hollywood fundraiser, emceed by Jimmy Kimmel, an ABC host, the same network hosting the second presidential debate, not corrupt at all. Special guests included George Clooney, Julia Roberts.
He's got a point on that whole host thing, but other than that, I'll give it to Fox News. They're really good at the whole, entertainment aspect of the news, which remember is like the main goal of the media is to entertain you. Never forget that, he hasn't so far he's talked about nothing substantial at all, and this is supposed to be news.
And Jack Black. When the president wins in November, yeah!
I'm pretty.
A lot of these Hollywood elites have, just sold their soul, have no spine whatsoever. They don't stand for anything. Sucks to see.
I'm sure I'm going to get a sweet shout out in his victory speech for what I gave up to be here. Because when democracy is at stake, Jack Black answers the call. Mr. President?
Democracy, yet again, keep telling you, is not at stake. It'll not. It's not. All the terrible things that have happened in the past 60 years are not on me. It's not of the fault of just one single individual. It is the entire apparatus of the government, every single individual in the government who lies and doesn't speak out, every person in the media who doesn't hold these wrongdoers accountable is the reason for why we don't have a democracy. It's not democracy didn't get taken on January 6th. It wasn't it isn't gonna get it wasn't taken from you in 2016. It's not gonna get taken from you if Trump becomes president or Joe Biden retains his presidency. But these people will continue to go on and on and on and fear-monger everybody, because fear-mongering is the last thing they have before we start coming together and realizing that this guy on your screen right here are the enemy, and this guy that I'm watching the news of are your enemy. And this whole little dynamic of this news broadcast is merely set up, just like MSNBC, just like CNN, just like ABC, you know what I mean? Just like CBS, just like all the rest of them, right, are merely set up to drive a wedge in between the voter base, and for people to not come together and uprise against the people who are the real enemies, which are the people who endorse who give money to these people and fund and own our government and fund the news medias and stuff like that. So I remember so far Jesse Waters has talked about nothing substantial.
You're welcome.
Barack Obama was
there. Bill Clinton couldn't make it this time. I wonder why. So it was an Obama-Biden reunion.
We have the highest unemployment, lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. We have more people.
Do they seriously have? I don't. I think that's a lie. That they have the lowest unemployment rate in the last 50 years. Wait, no, because yeah, I think it is a lie, because there's the uh the back in the day, way back in 2016. I'll place the thing on the screen as to what I'm talking about here. Um, but way back in the day, everybody was, all the liberals, all the Democrats, right, would flex the fact that, Obama got the unemployment rate down to such a low percentage, or, Clinton got the unemployment rate down to such a low percentage. And then Trump exposed the fact that there are two different types of models they use, and like measuring things they use to determine what the uh, what the unemployment rate would be. So, um, so as they say, the lowest unemployment rate and more jobs, or like if you ever say Trump or Biden or Obama say I have the lowest unemployment rate and more jobs have been have been going into the economy. Just remember what they mean by that is, and they're not making it blatant, they're not breaking it down for you, is not more people overall have jobs. Like there are much more people added on as individuals with single jobs. What that means is that there are much more people with more than one job that are making the job rate go up or the unemployment rate go down. So
15 million people, brand new, hired into the workforce. My son says we all have various short-term descriptions for your jobs. For what you
remember, Biden has, um the fuck is the word? Uh what is it? Insourced more jobs, I guess, than Trump has. Trump or outsourced. I should have started like that. Trump outsourced. Trump outsourced way more jobs, um than Joe Biden did. Um but at the same time, Joe Biden starts talking about prescription drugs. Joe Biden has made it twice as hard to acquire prescription drugs during his presidency. So
You should say Joe Jobs. That was the best Biden looked all night. Because a few minutes later, the president stopped moving, and Obama had to escort him off the stage. Watch. That's nothing new. Biden's been pulled around like a puppet his whole presidency.
Joe Biden
has been pulled around as a puppet his whole entire political career. Joe Biden even said himself, I was willing to be he said something to the extent of, and I'll get the video clip. He said that I was willing to be I went to the big guy or something like that, and I was willing to be a slave or a prostitute to the corporations.
Even the Easter Bunny tells Joe where to go. None of those videos were deceptively edited to make Joe look frail or confused. Just that's the way he looks, always. But the Democrat media
It is true. That is the way he looks all the time, every day, all day. Unless he's pumped with excessive uppers. I can't imagine I can't imagine Joe Biden getting out of bed without being pumped with excessive uppers. You know, as well as Trump. I can't imagine any of these guys getting out of bed. People are seriously about to vote for two people who are like a generation past retirement age and who, frequently shit in their pants, literally, because they're so old and they don't have control. It's like people seriously think there's a difference between these two when there's not. There's no difference at all. Ugh.
Matrix says these videos are a vast right-wing conspiracy. They're saying what we just showed you is disinformation.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make.
It's the Ministry of Truth. The Ministry of Truth. Who debunks misinformation, quote unquote? The Disinformation Board of the government. And I guarantee, just like Jen Psaki, once this administration is done, she's going to walk right into MSNBC, just like Nicole Wallace, who was a part of the Bush administration, used to cover up the fact that that Bush and Cheney did an illegal torture program and lied about it, and did an illegal war and lied about it. Is going to walk right into a cozy hour slot and be embraced by the liberal class, and nobody will say anything about the revolving door, the clear, blatant revolving door that should not happen between the media and the government institutions, which is, there's so many people that you don't even realize are from, arms bonds contractors, or the military industrial complex, or the oil industry, or some other type of, the former CIA directors, or former FBI people, or former congressmen, or just anyone involved in government. Because remember, the biggest spewer of propaganda in the country you're in is the people who run the government themselves. The second biggest spewer of that propaganda is the mainstream media.
Doesn't appear especially frail or mentally confused. Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith.
The word cheap fakes. Cheap fakes.
And some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation. They're saying Biden's never lost. He never needs a helping hand. They're all saying the viral videos of Biden freezing, wandering, and glitching are dangerous social media deepfakes. There's a growing and insidious trend in right-wing media, broadcast, print, and social media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden directly from Republican National Committee social media accounts, and then use those videos to spread messages virally to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office. If Biden's so fit, why are they not releasing the Her tapes? They're going to start suppressing these Biden videos like they did the laptop. They'll call it election misinformation and have it flagged and censored, to save democracy, of course. They just put a guy in jail for a meme. 7 months for a meme. And remember, Obama blamed the Benghazi attack on a YouTube video and arrested the guy who posted it. Biden learned from the best. And now Obama's sweeping Joe off the stage like he's still in charge. Maybe because he is.
People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term?
I like this whole conspiracy theory that Fox, has been laying out these past few years about, how Obama is, really the one that's in charge. It's not Joe Biden. I don't think that's really true. I think it's more the Clintons who have more of a say in a hand uh, like an invisible shadow hand as to what goes on with the top executive branch. I think, Obama can still suggest things maybe and still be, in an advisor role or something like that. But, I don't really think that like he's going, in day by day and telling Joe Biden, know this, yes this, do that, whatever. I remember because all these people are just worse and worse for the people and better for the 1% by design. Like, just as George H.W. Bush was an obvious extension of the Reagan administration, people think that the Reagan administration ended when Clinton came into office. That is not true. The Reagan administration has only continued on and continued on through the Biden administration to the modern day.
I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
As we mentioned last week, Democrats were using Biden as nothing more than a stand-in, a MacGuffin, keep him around until November.
Yeah, they're certainly like, honestly, I don't even think, can we honestly say that anybody in Joe Biden's family or anybody around Joe Biden, despite how bad of a person he may be, can we seriously say that anybody actually cares about his well-being, or any of these old politicians' well-beings? Because they certainly don't at all. I mean, they're willing to put these people who are clearly in excessive mental decline, on strings as long as they possibly can to keep the power that they have.
5th without expiring, win the election, force Joe to step down and promote Kamala to president days into the second term, and throw a DEI party for 4 years. The orders to the media were simple. Keep Biden from looking too old, too incompetent, or too misguided. That's why they're deploying the disinformation strategy on the videos. If Biden looks too old, they can't drag him across the finish line and switch him out for Kamala. And they have a problem, because just within a week, he froze at a Juneteenth party, wandered off.
Bro, this clip, I've seen this clip before of Joe Biden, I think like a few days ago or whatever. This clip looks like some fucking Jordan Peele shit. Like straight out of like I don't even know how to explain it. Like it just looks wicked. And this isn't even taken out of context. This is for the portion of this clip. This is what was happening. Everybody's around here dancing and whatever. All those black people are. Joe Biden's just still. You know what I mean? That sure reminds me of like a Jordan Peele skit. It's almost comedy at this point.
Off into Italian field and got yanked off the stage by Barack. Binder, has been in hiding for weeks, was asked today about the Juneteenth deep freeze. Listen.
Okay, let's talk about Juneteenth. The president stood there listening to the music, and he didn't dance. Excuse me, I did not know not dancing was a health issue. That is a weird thing to actually. There were some folks who were not dancing either.
We don't blame Biden for not dancing at a Juneteenth party. He's an 81-year-old white guy from Delaware. We're just worried he's not moving at all. He doesn't have to get down like Dougie Fresh, but he has to look alive. Trump looks alive and well, in Detroit of all places.
President Trump, I'm so humble that you would be here. President Obama never came to the hood, so to speak, right? President Joe Biden, he went to the big NAACP dinner, but he never came to the hood. So thank you. Thank you, Pastor. So humble, really.
And that's actually kind of respectable, meeting people meeting people where they are. But the fact is, Trump right now is where Joe Biden was like 5 years ago or 4 years ago where he could still, make a fluid sentence, but everything he's saying just doesn't make sense. Like right now, Joe Biden's on the like that's Joe Biden right now. Like he's on that stage because it's been 5 years since he was on the stage that Trump is on right now. So obviously, both these candidates are expressing massive mental decline and cognitive decline and perception decline and whatnot, and they continue to get propped up.
Trump's not freezing up, and we know he can dance. We've seen him do the YMCA. All Americans, especially black Americans, feel the difference between the Trump and Biden presidencies. Look at black voters under the age of 50. Holy cow, folks. Holy cow. Look at this. Joe Biden was up by 80 points among this group back at this point in 2020. Look at where that margin has careened down towards. It's now just, get this, 37 points. That lead has dropped by more than half, Mr. Berman. I just never seen anything like this. I'm like speechless. He's winning every swing state, and a new poll has Trump up by 18 points in Iowa. If Trump's up 18 in Iowa, Biden can kiss Wisconsin goodbye. A new forecast from The Economist gives Trump a 72% chance of winning. That's a new high. Biden can't pull it off, and Democrats are starting to feel it. So they're left with three options. The first one, drop the mother of all hoaxes. Historian Victor Davis Hanson says this, quote, "Do not be surprised when told of a secret."
I honestly don't think Joe Biden's going to pull it off either, realistically. I think the writing, ever since those January 6 hearings, as MSNBC likes to say, the writing's been on the wall for a Trump presidency in 2024. I mean, I don't know, it's just been, if you could see it a mile away. Like, I'm not somebody who's going to vote for Trump or Joe Biden, but you have to leave all your biases beside and leave what you want to happen beside, and just try to predict things based on like I said, I don't like Joe Biden, I don't like Donald Trump. I'm not going to help. I'm not going to support them. I'm not going to be the one that helps any of them get elected. And me not voting for any of them isn't going to be the reason why either of them get elected either. But you can vote a certain way you want, but you have to separate your opinion based on who you like and separate it between what is probably actually going to happen.
Trump plan uncovered to round up critics
in 2025 and send them to camps, or lurid revelations about evidence that Trump is in worse physical mental shape than a debilitated Biden. And right on cue, here's your roundup critics hoax.
Let's imagine he's just blowing off steam. He's saying, if we could find that leaker, I'd like to take him out of the back of the White House on the South Lawn and have him shot. When he's frustrated, when he's blowing off steam, again, to use Barr's formulation, is someone the way in which he exercises his frustration is to casually talk about having people who work for him shot, executed in some way. Well, I don't know if that's by hanging or by a guillotine or by the firing squad.
Guillotine, okay, that's a new one. And that Trump's in worse shape than Biden hoax, right on cue.
As the journalist who spent the most time with him, I have to say he couldn't remember things. He couldn't even remember me. We spent an hour together in 2021 in May, and then a few months later, I went back to the White House. I went back to Trump Tower to talk to him about his time in the White House. And he had this vacant look on his face, and I said, "Do you remember me?" And he said, "No."
But Biden couldn't remember when he was vice president. Forgive Trump for not remembering one of the thousands of people who interviewed him. The hoaxes aren't hitting, which is why option 2 could be the wild card. The Washington Post is suggesting replacing Kamala Harris with Hillary Clinton. Ready? Inarguably, a significant obstacle to a Biden win is Kamala Harris, whose low popularity has not been improved by her lackluster performance as vice president. We are left to
If they really replaced Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris with Hillary Clinton, the Democrats would get eviscerated in the election. Like it wouldn't even be like people obviously they don't like Kamala Harris because she has no policy. She's just like a puppet. Like she has no agenda. She has no real character or anything. She's just like a figurehead or whatever that just like, or like a droid, like an android. So people, they don't really like her for reasons, you know what I mean? But she's just there, you know what I mean? Like she's obviously just there in the background. But like if Hillary Clinton got swapped out with Kamala Harris, not only could they not play that whole identity politics game, right? Because they're swapping out uh, a black woman for a white woman or whatever, but what's it called? People will literally see her on the ticket, right? And they'd be like, this bitch again. Like, what the fuck? Like, they'd be like, what is she doing back? Like, people would be like, I feel like that'd be the biggest turnoff to the voter base would be Hillary Clinton. So there's no bigger turnoff to the voter base than Hillary Clinton.
Speculate about
Yeah, the Democrats are in a huddle and a puddle right now, but um, what's it called? I mean, over this entire video, I don't think we got any besides what I told you guys. What I told you, not what Jesse Waters told you. I don't think we got any type of substantial news, and this is supposed to be the guy that replaced Tucker Carlson. And of course we're not going to get any substantial news from this guy, because if we did get any good, substantial, factual, real, valuable news by any of these news people, Fox News, including MSNBC and all the rest of them, then they wouldn't be getting their pockets padded by the richest people in the entire country, in the military-industrial complex, in the oil industry, and all that. They would end up just like Tucker Carlson and be ostracized and kicked out and exiled off of mainstream media. If you're willing to stand up and flip the narrative that the media presents you, you will be fired and shut down too, and ousted and ostracized. So there's no point to even be affiliated with Light Society.
I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.